Welcome back, everybody, to yet another episode of The Winning Hand with yours truly, your host, Howard Reback, gambling and gaming specialist, which is a fancy way of saying I've done everything in the world of gambling. I don't like to use the words therapist or counselor, and I'm certainly not a doctor or a clinician. I'm just a simple guy that has gone through all the bad that there is to go through in the world of gambling, and I've dedicated my life now to doing TV and or radio, helping people that have gone through problems, the gambler himself, the family, spouse, kids, employee, employer. It affects a lot more than just the gambler. Today's topic is gambling and being in denial. I had mentioned a few weeks ago that last year sometime I wrote a column in a local Montreal newspaper, and I did an article on this topic, and the headline was Denial, Not Just a River in Egypt. Denial. I always ask the question, how is it humanly possible to know you're in denial if you're in denial? That may sound funny, and it may sound wacky and strange, but think about it for a minute. How can you know you're in denial if you are in denial until you come out of denial? Then you know you were in denial. Sounds weird, but it makes sense. I was in denial. I was in denial for far too many years. Far too long. As most people are. We try and learn our lessons. We try and learn from our mistakes. We try and learn to be better people, better citizens, better family members, better moms, dads, wives, husbands, kids, brothers, sisters, whatever. But when you're in denial and going through a gambling phase, which usually lasts as long as the money does, it's horrible. For me, I took it a few steps further. I went back to university in my 40s and studied problem gambling. And subsequently, when you can check my website, I have done a lot of work in the world of gambling. Many are certificate on different aspects of the world of gambling. But the point is, more important than the certificates, more important than that, is that I realized one day, who am I kidding? Who am I hurting? I'll tell you. I'm hurting me. And I know it may sound very hokey and very television-ish or movie-ish, but you're hurting the people that you love and the people that have surrounded you, lived with you, loved you and worked with you and supported you. Those are the ones you're hurting. As I said before, who suffers? While you're in denial and being selfish or sick, the jury's out on that. Who are you hurting? You're hurting your family. You're hurting your employees or your employer. You're not being honest. While you're at work at your desk doing whatever it is that you're getting paid for to do, you are not giving it 100%. And how can you? How can you if you're worrying or thinking or dreaming about 5 o'clock when the day ends, I'm going to the casino? Or I'm going to go home and go online and bet. or I'm going to go to the local convenience store and buy lotto tickets. Because that's what an addict does. And that's what somebody in denial does, not realizing the damage they're doing every day. An alcoholic? When I was in rehab, I remember having breakfast once with a so-called recovering alcoholic, and I had asked him a very simple question. What does he spend his day doing? And his answer was, looking forward to his next drink. That's what a gambling addict does while he's living through denial. Figuring out where the money's going to come from for the next bet, where the next bet will be, what excuse he or she will use while they are gambling, what excuse they will use to tell somebody why they're late in coming to wherever they were supposed to be. It's a story. It's a movie that they run in their head. The actual act of gambling could be quick. Painless. But everything that surrounds it isn't. When that happens, you're in denial. And what's the first thing that somebody does when they're a gambling addict? And in brackets, I would like to say, although it's far from my expertise, this would go for a drug user or an alcoholic or a shopaholic or a sex addict on the side. What's the first thing a gambling addict says?